I would like to welcome everyone. This is Kristen Crabtree with Lance Edwards Group, and we have a special treat today. We're interviewing a new apartment champion who is here to share his story about how he closed on his first multifamily deal since getting started with Lance's system. Please help me welcome Rafael.
Welcome. Welcome.
So, Rafael, I'm going to start with the sort of recap of the facts of your deal, just so that everybody is aware of those. So you did close your deal. You had 40 units in that deal. You do have prior real estate investment experience, and we might be talking about that a little bit. You were looking to get passive income for retirement. Your profit strategy is a rehab and hold. I'm assuming you're probably renting that out, renting out the units, but we'll talk about that. Your properties are in Ohio and you live in New Jersey. Let's see, you found out about it from, the deal, right? You found the deal from brokers and sending letters to owners. You invested 30% of your own money in the deal. You arranged financing through a bank. The property did need some work, and your profit earnings was 20%. Does that sound like a pretty accurate recap?
Yes. More or less.
Perfect. Okay. So before we get started, share with me a little bit about your personal and professional background.
Well, I came to the United States in 1990. I was a chemical engineer in my country from Dominican Republic, and I came here with, like everybody, to have a dream, make money, and live a good, a good life that we probably cannot. It's very difficult in our country. But when I start working, not in my career, but something similar. But since 1995, I was intrigued about the real estate. I read a lot of books. I purchased a lot of books, different authors. And then in 2004, I really started investing in real estate. I purchased my first two family. It was a rehab. I just wanted to start because since 1995, I was reading, and afraid to purchase. I don't know. Everybody goes through the same situation. But finally, in 2004, I purchased a two family, and I using money from how they call this home equity line of credit. I rehab it and I sold it. That was a flip. My first experience. I just made around less than 10,000. I was afraid. I thought I was gonna pay more, but I wasn't considering selling fee and something that it wasn't written in the manuals that I was reading. But at least I made some money. And then 2005, I started purchasing other two family, three family, rehabbing, and keeping those property for income, passive income. At some point I was holding around 20 units in different properties, two family, three family, four family. That was my expertise, if you can call it. Then in 2019, I got a free book from Lance on the internet, and I start being motivated about multifamily. In my area, I went to other teachers on multifamily, and I read a book also with the first book that motivated me in multifamily was one from Donald Trump. and David Lindo, multifamily. But I tried to invest in multifamily using other people's money, and I wasn't that success. I couldn't do it. And all the time I was trying, but it was only until 2019 when I went to training class with Lance. I started looking at things more clear. The confidence rise up, and I started sending letters to people around the world, around the states, different states. One state was Ohio. One owner sent me in Ohio. Well, I got a response from an owner, and it was a five units in Ohio. I was advertising in Columbus and Cincinnati also. Those two cities I was visiting. I never visit Ohio, Dayton. But the person who answered my letter was from Dayton. First time I was in Dayton. Okay, I discussed this deal with one of the trainers in the program, Lance program, and they look at the deal with me and they say, well, this is a good deal. You should go off after. So that increased my confidence. And then I went to Dayton. I visit and interview the owners, and we trying to discuss this and that, and we come up with a price. And I purchased a property in November 2019. It was a rehab, 5 unit, only one tenant. So I had to invest money to make it livable. Well, the pandemic came on 2020. I was hooked up with this property. I haven't finished it. It was a very tough time for me. But I didn't use any finance, and that helped me out to hold. It was my own money that I put there. Well, I finished that project. I stabilized it. I still own it, free and clear. Then I initiate some relationship with broker in the area. One of the broker told me the whole city, everything. He started sending me properties. In 2020, 21, the market was very good. So I got another 6 unit, but the last one I purchased was a 29 unit. But I had to confess, I always been hesitant to get other people money. But after the pandemic, I lost my job. So I convert a retirement account that I had to a self-direct account, IRA account. So I used my money from that account to purchase this 29 unit. This 29 unit was around 85% occupied. I have a non-recourse loan on it, and I'm still repairing the property, the units that I need. But they are, at this time, it's like 90% occupied. And that is my experience so far.
That's great.
With the 6 unit, the 5 unit, and the 29, I have altogether 40 units.
Awesome. Okay. That's fantastic. Okay. So one thing that you said was that you were trying to create passive income for when you retired. Is there any other thing that you were trying to solve through real estate investing that you want to comment on?
To sell through real estate?
To solve like a problem.
Any issue for me to solve?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my only, and I think this has to be with my own, probably I'm not, it's, I need to start getting other using other people money.
Mhm.
I use a little bit with family and some friends on the job, but not 10, 20,000, 15,000. Not a big deal, you know. What I
Mm.
really want to find an investor that can loan real money, like at least the 20%, 20 to fund the 20 or 25%. I haven't been able to do that.
Okay. And what was your financial situation before you began investing?
My financial situation was I was working all the time, 9 hours a day, doing some saving. Me and my wife work together. We use our saving. My financial situation it been okay because when since we were using um, our money to purchase and rehab, increase value on the properties. Every time we refinance, we accumulate some cash, and we were fine. I decided to sell before I get into the multifamily, all my 2 or 3 family. I got 6 altogether, and we made all that fund. We use it to purchase. At this time, I don't have too much cash available. Only some money, but in my retirement account.
Okay, so the difference is you had a pretty abundant savings, but you've used that savings for investment, and now you have your retirement account, but you don't have a lot of other liquid cash.
No, not too much.
Okay. Do you have a specific financial goal that you're targeting?
Well, my financial goal is to keep my when you are working and you have certain living status, and once you are not working and you start decreasing your income, and I don't want that. So I want to keep at least my monthly or my, let's say, annual income around the 125,000 to feel comfortable. And in this time when we have living in an increased a cost of life, or it's very difficult for me because I'm used to just to sustain that kind of living around 100, 125,000 a year. But we're not making that. My properties, because I'm using money, still using money that 2 of them are producing to rehab and to stabilize all the projects. I had the 6th unit was another rehab value add property. I'm still in the process, and I had to refinance that one to pay back a loan that I have on it. The 29 unit, I don't. It's a long-term investment, but still investing to. So that's my properties at this time that are not producing too much cash flow that as I estimate. I know it's 6 months. I've been with 6 months. Everything was projected after 1 year. I especially follow Lance when Lance said after a year, everything, because we had to um, do calculation after a year, from 1 year to 5 year, everything. Sometimes when you have value add property, since the beginning, you don't have cash flow. So that is, we are living that situation at this time. I believe, in 6 months, this property will be providing to me around 4,000 4,000 monthly.
Okay. All right. So what's your target for when it'll be like 10,000 a month? Do you have a target in mind?
I've been trying to adjust this. That was my target in last year when I decided to retire, but sometimes I don't want to make excuses, but life hits you hard. At this time, I'm not so comfortable because I'm dealing with my wife sickness. She's now working, and I think she's gonna have a transplant. This is a very difficult situation for us because I don't know how gonna be and at the beginning,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to accommodate my economic life to my own life, my real life, because that's you cannot escape when you have your wife in that condition.
Right. So, achieving that 125,000 per year, what would that do for you? How would that change your life?
No, it wouldn't change my life because I'm being accustomed to live that way. I don't, I'm just trying to, because I'm retired this time. I don't want to have something mm, that I haven't, where I'm afraid to lose my way of living. I'm not afraid. I just want to keep having what I have since I start living in this nation. I don't want to decrease my status of living. So that's why I'm comfortable with that. I don't want to be rich guy, but I want to be just being able to travel, visiting people, teaching other people. I also teaching people. I also invest in the stock markets. That's what I was doing before. I invest most money in the stock market. It's hard, but that's one of my expertise.
So it sounds like achieving that 125,000 per year, the main difference is you have time freedom that would allow you to travel and still have the same income. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my goal. Have free living.
Okay. So is that your ultimate dream, or what would you say is your ultimate dream?
My ultimate goal is to reach the 100 units. I'm not even half. That was is written in some place that I have in my office. 100 unit, but at that 100 unit, I put it for 2022. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it this year, but it's there. And every time I enter my office, I see the 100. That's my main focus, because I think 100 units it will be providing the 10,000 a month that I want to feel comfortable economically.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you have quite a good history of real estate investing. I think you said most of it was like 2-3 family units. So I've heard some of the areas you got stuck, and one is not having, always using your own money, not having a way of, or not working on using somebody else's money. Why else did you seek help from Lance? Were there certain areas that you were stuck on your own that you were seeking his help?
Well, the one main thing that I was stuck was my confidence to take the decision, and somehow some knowledge how to acquire, how to analyze. I know how to analyze a deal, thanks to the training from Lance. I feel comfortable. Um, I'm not afraid to talk with no seller, no broker. I speak with anybody. I'm in that part. I owe to Lance. I feel so good for the way he taught me these knowledges, and this software that he has is also a good way to analyze and give you some let's say mental freedom to increase your confidence to search any deal and to talk. I'm not afraid to talk to nobody, especially to owners.
So working with Lance brought up your confidence in that way?
Well, I say more than 100% because I remember before that, I was one of those people who send letter and I don't want nobody to call me. And until somebody called me. I remember I struggled a little bit the 2 or 3 first time that I had to answer some call, especially for my accent in English. I sometimes didn't understand other people, the way they were talking to me, and it was a little little frustration around. But after my 5 or 6 times that I would, because I knew the numbers, I know where to go, until what level I can, and it increased my confidence and more than 100%. I feel fine for that. The only thing that I know that I need to work hard is to start getting people, other investors, and try to get finance from them to use it, fund deals. That's
That's your, okay.
my main problem at this time.
Okay. And you mentioned that you're married. Was your wife on the same page as you about getting into investing?
Well, my wife she's a very lovely woman, but she never she never was interested in learning about real estate. And I've been on my own. That probably made it harder for me because I don't have somebody next to me to push me or say, be careful with this, or it's always good to discuss with your partner things. But my partners being the network and the coaches from them. So that's what increased my confidence. And from her, but she was always leaning on me. She was trusting me everything. She don't, I don't like to do that, but go ahead, use our money. So I never, she been comfortable with that.
Okay. Okay. You've covered a couple of your initial obstacles. So you can answer this from all the way back in 2003 or whenever it was that you got started. Or you can, elaborate on more recent things. But I know your language was one of the obstacles that you faced, and money, using other people's money is another obstacle. Are there any other obstacles that you faced when you got started that you had to overcome?
Well, I also, I'm not a computer technician. So one of the things that I had to learn was to use the computer better. I was only those people who go to the internet to play things. No. But I started investigating, searching, and that increased my confidence too, because I know, or I learned how to get information. But that was one of the problems that I had. I think at this time we don't get expertise using our phone. I'm still learning how some things there that are my kids, but I have my kids. Listen, how I can do this? They help me out because that's one part of the deal that I don't want to waste too much time. Especially, I do remember that at the beginning I was following some instruction in order to do presentation to find um, um, uh, financial or investor get money from them. One of my problem was do the presentation through the computer or do some graphic thing that I'm not do like Microsoft has some, I don't know how they call it, some things that you do there to help you.
The slideshows, you mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. I never had the time to learn how to do that. So every time I meet somebody, it was face to face and showing something on the maybe a financial statement or something like that. But no post, no those good a presentation that people do, on TV. That probably was one of my things that I didn't do well. I probably frustrate me. I started talking to some investors. I tried to follow some of those directions that I find on the uh, Lance Porter, but I still wasn't success. I only was succeeding with close friends in my job or my family, but it's a small deal. For the small deal, I need 25,000 but now 50,000, 100,000. I never get somebody to those levels. I want to find that. If I find a one or two, I will probably feel more comfortable.
Okay. So when you faced the hurdles that you faced, the computer, the language, the money, why did you stick with investing?
Because this passive money is being in my brain. I know that it can be done because people do that all the time, and I challenge myself. If other people can do something, why I cannot do it? I have everything that I need. The only thing that I'm lacking is some confidence in my brain or on my own. Um, Especially in that part, I know it is it's my fault, nobody else's fault that I cannot be successful. Also, now we're talking about this. I know maybe this is something that everybody does, procrastinating things. At the beginning, I know that I have to do something, but I put it on the side because I'm gonna do it tomorrow, not today, because and then tomorrow comes and I was trying this. I'm still living with this situation of postponing things for later.
Mm-hmm.
And I find any situation that give me the reason to postpone it. And in that part probably is one of my area that I had to improve.
So what tools are you currently using to get around the procrastination tendency?
The only tool that I use is when I have a board over there and I write things in the board and I come here and sit down and I see the board. Maybe I don't, but I see it tomorrow again and say, I have to do that, but I don't do it. So that's the only thing that I do. Writing things on board and try to embarrass myself of why I didn't do it. Why? So that helped me sometimes. Things that I plan to do it tomorrow, maybe I do it 5 days after that, but I do it.
Okay. How has investing in real estate impacted other areas of your life?
Well, real estate is my main focus in life. It's everything. Give me everything that I have at this time. I don't want to quit. I want to continue. Now I am not working. I don't have any other reason for not pursuing my dream, my 100 units. I don't think about 200, but 100 is a nice number that I still grab it here in my mind. And sometimes I think about why are you going to be comfortable with the 40 unit that you have now? Internally, I don't feel well for that. I had to commit with that. I have it there. And in my computer, when I open it, I have it. There is a 100 unit.
So, one thing I heard you say was that doing real estate investing, in particular, after you started with Lance, it increased your confidence. So is there any other way that real estate investing has in a positive way spilled over into other parts of your life?
Well, uh, real estate investment um, gave me so more confident on myself that I start teaching other people, friends, about how to acquire properties. And this, I'm in my basement here. I have an office and I have a teaching environment here where I start teaching other people, trying at the same time to find those people who I was teaching about how to acquire properties. At the beginning was 2 and 3 family, but then I switched to the multifamily. Some of them were interested, but then I had to stop here because of the pandemic. And this is something that I haven't think about doing on Zoom and seeing, because I told you that I'm not so technical, on these things. Maybe I had to learn, but I had to stop that. So real estate gave me confidence, and that probably was one of my abilities to start teaching, to start speaking the language, because I had to at the beginning I do it in Spanish, but some other people who doesn't speak Spanish, I had to speak in English and improve my language, and everything been improving since I start doing the real estate.
So it's wonderful that you were helping other people. What motivated you to start doing that, to start teaching others?
Well, I start with my close friends, then friends of my friends, and especially my family, because in my family, I don't want I told my kids, they are grown up now. I said, listen, I don't want to have 100 units and then I die. You have to sell it to somebody there. I want you to learn how to keep them. So two of them, they start learning, but one is more committed than the other. But that was one of my motivations to start with my close friends and family, teaching to, to leave the legacy alive. Because I see that when you purchase a property because somebody or some relative die, you say, well, this is good property. Why they don't keep it? So if I don't know how to keep it, then I am there. So I'm afraid that happened to me because my family is being away from real estate. So and it made me feel fine when I teach others. I teach other people, my family, they start investing in real estate too. I see that. I feel when we get together, we talk. I got two nephews that every time I see with them, they, Tio, uncle, look, I found this. And then we talk about the same thing, and that's fine.
How does that make you feel?
It made me feel great. I made me feel great. So they are increasing, they are purchasing, I like that. Because sometimes one of them will be one of my partner. I haven't been partner with them yet, but they're dealing with small, but you start with small deals, the Lance say that all the time. If you cannot purchase a 20 unit, purchase a 2 or 3.
So what has happened that has surprised you?
What happened that surprised me was last year when I purchased the 29 units. That was a property was advertised for 1.6 million. I never thought that I could purchase something over 1 million. 1 million. That was a figure that scared me all the time. 1 million. I was comfortable 100, 200, 300,000, even 400,000. I say, oh, this is something that I can manage. Remember that I use my own money all the time. Mm-hmm. So when I found this, the broker was not through the broker. No, this was through my property manager. That one. And he said, no, I can afford that 1.6 million. Oh, no, there's no way. If you help me, he said, we're trying discussing the possibility to purchase the property with my property money. He put in some, and I put something. But then I had to retire, and I was dealing with transferring this money, and they said, well, I can use that money. I don't have to use this guy, especially when it's a value add property. Sometimes it's difficult when you're not gonna have 100 control of everything. So I was able to purchase this property with using my, but I was very great. It was great experience for me. And I discussed the price down. I managed myself from 1.6 to 1.4 because I had to improve. So they said, listen, you fix everything, I give you the 1.6 million. But you have to do this and that. And that. Well, I said, no, there's no time. It's 1.4. So I have to increase this value. So it was a great experience for me purchasing a property with that price, over 1 million. And I think that now I see property 1 million something, I think it can be done. It can be done.
So that's a good segue to what excites you about the future and the possibilities that the future holds.
Well, see the cost of living here, I know that we are experiencing high interest rate and this situation. I was a little bit afraid to continue purchasing property, but when I say, I remember when I purchased my first property, my residence, it was 6.75 at that time. It was in 1998. Everybody was purchasing property at that high interest rate. Why cannot be done now? So the only problem that we have is to arrange the number. If the number works, it will be fine. So I start doing that again, and then because I said, no, I'm not going to purchase any property at this time. I stopped looking when I saw interest rate going higher. Oh. But now I got more confidence again, and I think it can be done. And the future in real estate will be great. And the inflation things, I think we manage. If I have property, I will manage this inflation much better if I don't have. If I have the money in cash, the money will be losing a value. And I think the property will be at least sustaining the value that they have. If they produce the cash flow, I don't care, because I remember when through the 2008 period, remember that 2008, everything was down.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was able to survive, no having any bankruptcy, nothing. But all my property were cash flowing, and even when I had to pay the loan, it was cash flowing in it. Sometimes when $200, which I'm comfortable, $100, I'm comfortable. That doesn't matter as long as I was making the money for the bank and the repair. I was able to survive. So real estate is I think everything I have now, and everything I intend to acquire in the future will be through real estate. Well, I had to be honest. I had to give a percentage of this income to investing in the stock market too, because I use some money in the stock market.
Mm-hmm. So what strengths do you possess that you feel maybe made this endeavor easier for you or more doable for you?
Well, I would like to have somebody on my side, especially from my kid. That's what I would like to have, some help from my family or a partner, because sometimes I cannot find everything. I cannot dedicate 100%. Even when I'm not working for nobody, now these days, I haven't been able to focus because my wife. But I do know if I have somebody else, probably help me to concentrate more. I'm doing this on my own.
What has changed about who you are since you started down this path? You told me some things, again, like the confidence and your language skills and that type of thing. But in what ways do you think this process has made you a different person?
Well, it made me a different person because especially with my experience with the land being a landlord, I love to 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 treat good tenants like persons. These people love me a lot, and it was a great experience at the beginning when with this kind of experience dealing with tenants. These people love me too much at one point that I saw that I was their family, and then I discovered that I was doing a mistake because when you are so good with them, you you don't you you don't do the right thing in the investment side. At some point I was trying not to increase the rent because I don't want to hurt them because they are financially in distress. But at the same time, I was losing some money and increasing value for my property. So that's what I learned from lands, and I decided to um, sell all my small units in order to get bigger units and use property manage because I'm not so good dealing with tenants. I am a good person and I am very weak when I am dealing with them. I get convinced easily. And I say, well, this is something that I need to improve. And I also, now that I'm not dealing with them, I'm learning how to deal with the property managers. Property managers. I have one that was phenomenal, but now the one I have, eh, uh, it gave me a tough situation. I had to learn how to deal with these people. That's another experience that I didn't have. I had some. I know that I had some, but not all the time. You have a good property manager that advise you the right way. The one that I had now, this is a new experience for me, and I had to deal with them or I had to fire them. So dealing with property money is another thing that I've been learning lately.
Okay. Is there anything else that you discovered about yourself that surprised you?
Now that I know, I think either increasing my confidence in myself and being able to not being afraid to lose my job, for example, that was something that but I don't have any job. I continue in my life, and I know that there is a great future in front of me there. All I have to do is continue what I am doing.
So talking about that future, I want you to imagine yourself 5 years in the future. You've got your 100 doors. How has your life changed?
If I get a 100 units,
Mhm.
oh, well, in the future, you program the future, you visualize the future, but I don't know, right, really how it's going to turn out. Maybe better than I'm thinking, but all I have to do is just think. Uh, just having this type of life that I've been living is great for me. If I can provide for my grandchildren that I have right now and leave a legacy for them, that will make me fantastic. And if I have my wife alive because she's still struggling. I hope God help me to keep her for longer time, and then we'll be able to provide for ourselves, feel comfortable.
Okay, great. What other advice or what advice do you have to offer to others?
Well, my advice is to get prepared, get the knowledge, and try to start investing in any way. I remember the first day I read that I did in 2004, but I started reading and learning from like 95 to 9 year reading book and going to seminar and never do anything. I still have a lot of books from those kind until I decided to do something. I almost lose money because I thought I'm gonna make 50,000. I only made a little less than 10. Then, but it was great. At least I didn't lose anything. Even if I lose something, I did it. And I will probably learn how not to do wrong things next time. So everybody that is dreaming to live their life through real estate had to do the first step, do something. And that was in my 2 or 3 journey, 2 or 3 family journey. But when this and the multifamily deals, I start doing probably the same thing. I was afraid. I remember I was afraid when I send letters. I was afraid somebody called me, but I did send the letter. I remember Lance said, "You gotta send it. You guys, if you do every week, you gotta send some letter." Well, I sent hundreds and hundreds. I remember the first 3, 5, maybe around the first 5, I was hesitant to pick up the phone and talk, but then I start talking. And I got my deal. My first deal was 5 units. And then I initiated a good relationship with broker, and I got my 40 units at this time. That's about 3 years. Some people doing it in 1 year and less, but remember I was working and doing this part-time. I was doing part-time. I just lost my job last year. And then this year I've been taking it easy because of my wife's sickness, but I think there is a good future there. And for everybody who need to grow in real estate, have to start doing something. The letters, fantastic. And the format that I have from last is work. I also use the format for postcard. I have some feedback from postcard, but not being able to close on any deal yet. At this time, I'm sending some postcard through a mail to click. That I use that. I don't know if you know what is this. This is a postal service.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else you want to add or share?
Well, I really don't think anything else this time.
Okay. You've been very forthcoming with your history and your life, and we appreciate it. With Lance Edwards, this is Kristen Crabtree. Please join us again when we interview our next department champion. If you'd like to learn how you could be our next department champion, please call our office at 281-667-3638. You're only one deal away.